lights are out and you stumble in the dark. You kept pushing on, but then you went too far. When your ship has sailed and all your dreams are lost, everything is wrong, you feel like it's your fault. Just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just call me. Just call me. Just call me. Just call me. You're stronger now than you ever been. You gotta leave now, it's time to catch the wind. You will climb up high and look through the clouds. And when you're feeling low, I know you'll bounce back. Oh, and just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just call me. Just call me. Just call me. Just call me.
Welcome everybody into the Western States Racing League Truck Series live tonight from Homestead-Miami Speedway. I'm Mike Timoni up in the booth. Last week we were on a bye. 2 weeks ago we were at Pocono Raceway where we saw Andrew Schulte lead only 14 laps, but he was able to bring home the victory. Butch Davis was in second with Justin Michael in third after leading 28 laps. Chad Simpson is the points leader at the moment. Andrew Schulte second. Charlie Widener in third place. So we'll see where these guys stack up after we get this race rolling here tonight. Should be getting ready to roll off into qualifying. Wayne Hutchinson, one of the first men out on track. A little over halfway through his warm-up lap here before he gets ready to start his hot lap. Got that 31 Toyota ready to move here. Probably quite a few new faces for me. I haven't been back in the broadcast booth for Western States for quite a while here, but We'll let these guys roll on through. Wayne Hutchinson. A 34.89. Justin Michael up there with a 34.53. Christian Bishop, a 34.83. Heath Smith up there with a 34.79. Good enough for P2 at the moment, as they are rolling off pretty quickly here, trying to get as much time in their qualifying session as possible. James Lehman up there with a 34.71. Christian Bishop a little quicker with a 34.67, but Justin Michael top of the board with a 34.50. Bob Beltrami in the Belami 14 Toyota with a 34.80 on his 2 laps. Brian Barnes in the 4 Ford, currently sitting P8 right now. First lap was a 34.90. See if he can go any quicker this second time by. And he does just that, a 34.72 for Barnes there. Ryan Steele in the 12 Chevy with a 34.86 on his 2 laps. Matt Sisler up there with a 34.66 after his 2 laps. Michael Melfeld Jr. a 34.72. Andrew Schulte first time by a 34.72. See what he can do in the Taco Bell 81 Toyota here. Looks like he's getting a little loose there. Comes down the straightaway, so that is going to be definitely slower than his first time by, so he will have to regroup and try again. Dennis Busan with a 34.81 first time by, second time by a 34.79. Kyle McCartney up there with a 34.57 on his 2 laps. Dustin Burns in the Vegas Golden Knights 04 Chevy, 35.47 for Dustin. Jeff Schmeier rolling off in that 30 Toyota here, as he will get ready to go. Jump over to Justin T. Wilkinson out here with a, well, first time. Looks like his lap didn't quite count. Looks like he might have brushed the wall. We'll have to see what this second lap will do here. Coming to the start-finish line this time by. Wilkinson will go with a 34.80. Jeff Schmeier on his hot lap now. Coming down the backstretch. See what Schmeier can bring here. First time by for Jeff, and he will go up to P5 with the 34.65. Wilkinson up there with a 34.63, so we'll see if Jeff Schmeier can better that. Butch Davis finished his second lap in that STP 43 Chevy with a 34.57. Jump back over to Jeff Schmeier. Schmeier goes a little bit slower that time by. Barry Phil starting his hot lap. Looks like we have Lyle Swearingen, Carl Burke, Julian Ricci, Chris Simard all out on track right now. Looks like Carl Burke in that 53 Chevy for the cast iron cooking. See what he can do his second time by. First time was a 34.95. And second time by, looks like he got a little bit loose there, so 34.87. Barry Phil up there with a 35.01 for his first time by. Jump on back to Chad Simpson as he's starting his out lap. Jump over to William Fletcher completing his first time by. Fletcher up there with a 34.89. Lyle Swearingen first lap, a 35.04. We got a little movement at the top of the board. James Lehman came back with a 34.46 to go top of the board. Justin Michael, 34.50. Butch Davis, a 34.57. Chris Samar just jumped up there with a 34.57. So we got a trio of 34.57s in third, fourth, and fifth with Butch Davis, Kyle McCartney, and Chris Samard. Lyle Swearingen up there had to do a little bit better than Davis with a 34.53 for Swearingen there. Carl Burke with a 34.87. Like Chad Stearns, a 34.86. Julian Ricci, 34.84. So these guys are all battling here to see who they can get at the top of the board. Looks like Keith Kelman's getting ready to roll off on his lap as well. Swearingen heading down for his cool down lap. William Fletcher, 34.63, good enough for P8. Chad Simpson in the 42 Toyota with a 34.73. Julian Ricci, a 34.76. Wayne Fleet, a 35.07. I think we're getting pretty close to wrapping it up here in qualifying. We've got Dave Rudd, Keith Kelman, and Kerry Cleaver out here on track. I think they're just getting ready to start there. Keith Kelman coming to about halfway on his first hot lap here. $35.17 for Kelman. Halfway through for the 69 Ford. See what Kerry can do here. 35.29. And that is going to be it for the qualifying session here as we jump over to the race session. We'll get these guys in their rides and ready to roll here for 107 laps. It is the Western States Racing League, round number 14 from Homestead-Miami. We're a mile and a half here in South Florida. Just about be getting ready here. Got James Lehman, Justin Michael, Chris Sumard, and Chad Stearns in row 2. Row 3, Lyle Swearingen, Butch Davis, Kyle McCartney, and Morris Bogan. William Fletcher and Justin T. Wilkinson make up row 5. Row 6, Jeff Schmeier, Matt Disler. We've got Christian Bishop and Michael Melfeld Jr. making up row 7. Row 8, Brian Barnes and Andrew Schulte. Ryan Steele and Chad Simpson are going to roll off 17th and 18th. Row number 10, Heath Smith and Julian Ricci. Wayne Hutchinson and Dennis Fuson make up row 11. Bob Beltrami, Charlie Widener in row 12. Row 13 is Carl Burke and Keith Kellman. We got Brandon Hughes and Dan Brazington, followed by Barry Phil and Wayne Fleet in row 15. Row 16 is Kerry Cleaver and Dustin Burns, with Dave Rudd bringing up the tail end of the field. So that is where they start tonight. Where will they finish? We will find out momentarily when we get locked and loaded and ready to set these drivers free here in South Florida. Inside lane takes the access road, outside lane up on the track. It will file back in. Lights are out on the pace truck as we get side by side, ready to roll here. Pace truck makes that left-hand turn, and we are in the Geico restart zone. James Lehman leads them on down to the green flag, and it is out. Lehman gets a jump with Justin Michael in second. Chris Simard battling down on the inside, side by side through the first few rows after Lehman. James Lehman has about a quarter of a second lead. Justin Michael, Chris Sumard, Chad Stearns, Lyle Swearingen, all kind of side by side. Butch Davis and Kyle McCartney side by side as well. We have like Morris Bogan up into the outside walls. He's trying to make some speed there. JTW sliding up behind him. And that's where we sit through the first 9 cars as they're all on track trying to make their way towards the front here. Got some battles going on side by side. Matt Sisler and William Fletcher back and forth. The 28 and the 93. Jeff Schmeier, Michael Melfeld Jr., Christian Bishop all battling 3 wide. Almost as Bishop looks like he was trying to think middle but thought better of it. Up towards the front, we have Chad Stearns going to the inside of Chris Sumar, trying to get that 05 up into P3. The first 2 has slowly started to work themselves away from the rest of the pack momentarily, but Chad Stearns, Chris Sumar still battling side by side. Butch Davis, Lyle Swearingen as well. Kyle McCartney go back through the field. Looks like we got Ryan Steele, Christian Bishop, everybody kind of bouncing around a little bit here. Andrew Schulte back in the field as well, running 17th right now. Brian Barnes back in 18th. Like Schulte goes up towards the wall, so he's going to go back one position as Barnes is going to get a better run on the low line. Dennis Fuson, Heath Smith side by side. The back part of the field is kind of single filed out, but the middle part is not giving up yet. We got Christian Bishop on the high side, Chad Simpson down on the low side, and Michael Melfeld Jr. just in front of them. Brian Barnes trying to pass Andrew Schultes. Andrew Schultes battling back on the high side. Christian Bishop pulls out, and he's going to try and make a run on Melfeld Jr. here, as we are 5 laps into this 107-lap race. They are battling all over the track. Looks like the first 3 or 4 drivers is pretty much single file. Lyle Swearingen pulls down and goes to the inside of FBR teammate Chris Sumard, and he's going to take that position. Justin T. Wilkinson's going to try and follow Swearingen through. We've got Butch Davis, Lyle Swearingen, and Chris Sumard almost all hooked up here at Homestead. That being said, let's take a quick little gander here at the track temperature. Track temperature is a scorching 131 degrees. Ambient air 82. So the track is hot, and it is going to start to get a little slick once they get some miles on these tires. They are running 80% fuel, so they will be having to hit pit road at least once here. But James Lehman has pretty much checked out on the field. He's got almost a second lead over Justin Michael. Chad Stearns back there a little ways. Butch Davis, Lyle Swearingen, Justin T. Wilkinson, Chris Sumard round out that top 7. Kyle McCartney trying to go, and we have a truck down on the inside of the wall there. It looks like, I think it was Morris Bogan here. Looks like he got loose, went down towards the inside wall, able to keep it pointed in the right direction. So we stay green here, but it looks like he lost several positions as he was up battling inside the top 15, and now he is down to 25th here. 10 laps into this race. Like Bob Beltrami is going to have his hands full momentarily, as he was going to be passed there. It's by Brandon Hughes or Charlie Widener. Looks like Brandon Hughes is going to stay up in the high side. Bob Beltrami slides up in front of that 17 machine. Charlie Widener takes the 95 down to the bottom and is going to try and pass Beltrami down there. Side by side they go, and just in front of them you have Heath Smith with Dennis Fuson and Wayne Hutchinson all battling as well. These guys are all over the track trying to get as many positions as they can. As you saw, Christian Bishop look like he pulled down to the inside, and he's going to make the pass on William Fletcher. Jeff Schmeier inside of Fletcher as well. We'll see if Chad Simpson's going to try and make that move and follow Schmeier and Bishop through on that bottom side and get that 28 going the wrong direction here. Biggest mover of the race right now is going to be Justin T. Wilkinson, as he is up 4 spots, running P6 right now. Looks like Butch Davis is having a little bit of a hard time, or is trying to get that high line to come in a little bit faster, as he's the only one running up there, as everybody else is down towards the bottom. That high line tends to come in, and we do see that Kyle Larson line, right up there, right against the wall. Seems to be one that prevails later in the race here at Homestead. Looking back through the history here of the Western States Racing League, they've been doing this for 50 seasons, okay? They've raced here at Homestead-Miami 22 times and have had 10 different winners. They've ran 2,277 laps here at Homestead. That is just insane. But of that, the drivers who have won here, Kyle McCartney has won here 5 times. Right now, Kyle McCartney is running back in P8. Bob Beltrami also has won here quite a few times. He's won here 4 times. We have Dean Heck, who looks like he doesn't race here anymore. He's won 3. Brian Barnes running P18. He has started all 22 races and has won 2 of them. Finished top 5 14 times, top 10 18 times. So watch out for Brian Barnes as well. Bentley Glazer used to race here quite a bit, and it looks like we are having a massive incident here as everybody started to run over each other. Let's see. It looks like Julian Ricci going to be the one who brings out the caution. See what we can see here. Oh, Julian Ricci goes off the nose as we were watching Brian Barnes. And that's going to be Heath Smith. That winds up sending Ricci. Jump over back to Ricci as he is trying to slide down the track and get out of the way. Like Heath Smith also gets involved again as everybody's trying to stay out of the way. Heath Smith slides back up on the track, gets Brian Barnes one more time. If you can take a look here. Get a little closer look. Here's on board with Heath. And it just touches him just a little bit, sends him up the track. He's going to get into Brian Barnes and slide back down. And that is going to send all 3 of them into the wall. 31 there of Wayne Hutchinson involved. Julian Ricci, Bob Beltrami barely avoids it. Brian Barnes back in it one more time as they are stacked up there. So the Oregon Ducks #1 machine follows a little too closely there with Julian Ricci, and that's going to bring out the first caution. As we have a few drivers electing to come down pit road, we have Justin Michael, Ryan Steele, James Lehman, Chad Stearns, Butch Davis, Bob Beltrami, Christian Bishop, Jeff Schmeier, William Fletcher, Brendan Hughes, Dan Brazington, Keith Kellman, Dustin Burns, Wayne Fleet, David Rudd, Barry Phil, Kerry Cleaver, Dennis Fuson, Brian Barnes, Wayne Hutchinson, Heath Smith, of course, and Julian Ricci. Looks like Ricci probably called it a night from what I am seeing here. They are stacked back up. So the top 10 have not hit pit lane yet tonight as we're 18 laps into a 107-lap race. So here we go, stacked up, ready to go. Pace lights are out on the pace truck. Lyle Swearge and Chris Sumard are hooked up and ready to go. Teammates side by side on this front row. And we are down and away and are ready. The 53 of Carl Burke goes around. He will jump to pit road, and we will stay green. He spun the tires like nobody's business when they got going. Let these guys fan out here in single file. Looks like about half the field had to check up, which definitely had to help these guys on the older tires. Justin T. Wilkinson down to the inside. Chad Simpson up 14 spots, running P4 now. We have Lyle Spurgeon, Chris Dumart, Kyle McCartney, Chad Simpson, Justin T. Wilkinson, Matt Sisler trying to go to the high side. Charlie Widener going backwards just a little bit here as Andrew Schulte trying to make some ground as he slides up in front of Widener. They're battling out hot and heavy here. We got Wilkinson and Sisler side by side. Andrew Schulte trying to run that high side. Butch Davis trying to make the most of his fresh tires. Christian Bishop as well. But the man on the move is the number 12 Chevy, Ryan Steele. He's up 8 spots, running P9. And also another driver making pretty quick work of the field is going to be Chad Stearns. Chad Stearns in that 05 Toyota is up several spots from when he pitted, because he was outside the top 10, running P5 now, and it looks like he's going to try and close the gap on the front half of this field as they are about a half second up in front. Christian Bishop, Butch Davis, Ryan Steele all working pretty well together here. And we have a driver going down into the inside, back up the track. And that is our pole setter, number 50 Chevy, James Lehman. Let's see what happened here. Oh. Like he might have just got out of sorts here. It looks like he just got out of sorts. Let's see if we can let's go back and take a look. See what kind of caused a little bit of the restart here. Like Carl Burke kind of laid back a little bit there and then just spun the tires, kind of stacked up the back of the field just a little bit, but was able to jump to the pits pretty quick. So that was on that restart. So they are rolling through here. Lap 24. See if anybody decides to come. Like we have roughly about half the field coming down. Ryan Steele came down a second time, so happens. Light should be going out on the pace truck this time, but we've got two drivers that have yet to hit pit lane. We've got Lyle Swearingen and Chris Sumard. Everybody else hit pit lane on lap 16 back until P18. Ryan Steele came down on lap 24. Kyle McCartney 24. Andrew Schulte. Basically everybody else. Looks like Brian Barnes is running P25 now after being involved in that last caution. Looks like Keith Smith and Wayne Hutchinson are spending an extended time on pit lane. Not throwing in the towel quite yet. So several drivers on the new tires, quite a few on older tires, and Lyle Swearingen and Chris Sumard on 27-lap old tires. Lyle Swearingen leading them on down to the Geico restart zone, and he is down and away. Looks like everybody kind of was able to get going pretty well here. Christian Bishop slides from the high side down to the low side with Jeff Schmeier right behind him. Butch Davis stays up high. Justin Michael trying to work his way towards the front. Chad Stearns is going to be looking for the lead as he is on the fresh tires and ready to roll, and he is going to get there. Christian Bishop going to follow him on through. See if he's going to be able to clear Swearingen as they start to single file out through the front few. Looks like Chris Sumard jumped down in front of Jeff Schmeier, going to try and block that little bit of a run there. Lyle Swearingen staying up high, Butch Davis as well. William Fletcher back up into P7. Justin Michael running P9. Brandon Hughes is up 19 spots. Hit it on lap 16. Now he's up 20, running inside the top 7. He's got that 17 Chevy rolling towards the front here. William Fletcher on the low line going the wrong way for the moment. Justin Michael is hooked up with Michael Melfeld Jr. Don't know that you could fit a piece of paper between those two drivers as they were working together there. Keith Kelman up 15 spots, running just outside the top 10. Kyle McCartney, dangerous driver on any track, but he seems to have had quite a few wins here at Homestead. Dennis Fuson, Charlie Widener, Andrew Schulte, Matt Sisler, Justin T. Wilkinson back there as well. Bob Beltrami running P18 after pitting on lap 16, so kind of mired between some of the guys that had a little bit later pit stop and have those fresher tires. Kerry Cleaver didn't put down a qualifying run, is going to going to be in 21st. Up 11 spots now. Ryan Steele came down pit lane a couple times and is running P23. Wayne Fleet back there with Dan Brazington. They are trying to work their way towards the front here. This battle about middle of the field. Jump back up towards the front, and it's still Chad Stearns and Christian Bishop. Christian Bishop on the high side, Stearns on the low side, battling back and forth to see who is going to lead here in Miami. Christian Bishop with the lead. Chad Stearns slides up in second. Butch Davis, Jeff Schmeier, Brandon Hughes. Hughes up running P5, up 22 spots from where he started. Michael Melfeld Jr. is looking to get by Lyle Swearingen. Swearingen on the high side. Swearingen and Chris Sumard running 8th and 9th have not hit pit lane yet. They've got to be thinking, I should have hit pit lane that last time, as they are fading back through the field pretty quickly here. Kyle McCartney to the inside of Chris Sumard. Chris Sumard going backwards in a hurry. The fresher tires are starting to take advantage here as Kyle McCartney goes by. Lyle Swearingen, Charlie Widener looking to get by, as well as Matt Sisler. And Andrew Schulte slides up behind Chris Sumard. Dennis Fuson trying to make his way inside the top 15. Simpson and Schulte side by side. And Chad Stearns battling back on the bottom side as he's going to try and take advantage and lead this lap. Butch Davis on his way back towards the front. Butch Davis running P3 right now. Jeff Schmeier P4. Brandon Hughes P5. They're still trying to hang on here. William Fletcher doing a good job staying inside the top 10. He's kind of had his hands full as well. Kyle McCartney running P7 right where he started after coming down pit lane on lap 24, back inside the top 10. Michael Melfeld Jr. up 6. Charlie Widener up 13 as Justin Wilkinson is trying to get back inside the top 10, and will do just that as he made the pass on Widener there. Chad Simpson back in 17th. Like James Lehman made his way down pit lane one more time and probably is going to call it a night, it looks like, as he is putting it on the hauler. Dustin Burns, Ryan Barnes. So looks like Wayne Hutchinson's back out on track. Carl Burke called it a night. Julian Ricci also called it a night. But Chad Stearns is slowly starting to pull away. Christian Bishop is keeping a healthy gap back to Butch Davis, Jeff Schmeier, and Brandon Hughes. Kyle McCartney, Matt Slisler down to the inside is going to try and get by Michael Melfeld Jr. Justin T. Wilkinson trying to work his way through as well. William Fletcher is going to have his hands full momentarily here as these guys are starting to move towards the front with a little bit fresher tires. About 8 laps fresher tires is all for these guys on that bottom lane. But with that being said, as these guys are kind of spreading things out here, Chad Simpson to the inside of Charlie Widener. We'll go back to that second group. Dennis Fuson, Keith Kelman, Morris Bogan, Lyle Swearingen, and Chris Dumart are still hanging out here inside the top 20 for the moment. As Kerry Glover, Lieber, Justin Michael, Ryan Steele, Dan Brazington, Barry, Phil, Bob Beltrami all try and just make their way around the track here tonight. But with that being said, we're going to step aside momentarily, and we'll be back right after this. As we go, don't miss anything, we go side by side. All right, welcome back, everybody, to the Western States Racing League from Homestead-Miami Speedway. Mike Devoni up in the booth tonight. As you've witnessed, Christian Bishop making some nice little saves here as Butch Davis was all over his rear bumper there. While we were away, we did see a couple drivers come down to make pit stops. That's Lyle Swearingen and Chris Dumart. They last pit on lap 46, so maybe they're trying to split the race in half, but they were losing a lot of ground to the drivers on the fresh tires, so we'll see how that treats them at the moment. Lyle Swearingen is the first car a lap down, so should a caution come out, he will get that lucky dog and be able to make his way back to the lead lap. Chad Stearns, Kyle McCartney, Jeff Schmeier are the top three right now. Got Matt Sisler and Justin T. Wilkinson. Andrew Schulte getting that high line, almost wall riding around here. Butch Davis following suit. Those two drivers are the drivers that tried to take advantage of that wall as much as possible here. Did start the race with 33 drivers tonight. We got Julian Ricci out on lap 14. Carl Burke called it a night on lap 18. James Lehman, our pole setter, had a rough one and called it quits on lap 36. Looks like Christian Bishop is down pit lane. Brandon Hughes as well. Must have start to feel the tires start to go as they are down pretty quickly here. Kyle McCartney rolling through. Look, we got Keith Kelman coming down pit lane. Matt Sisler staying out. Looked like he was thinking about it. Jeff Schmeier, Andrew Schulte. So it might be just inside that pit window here, as everybody's ran about 20 laps or so. Well, not quite. We're getting, they've ran, we'll call it 37 laps. Butch Davis, Chad Simpson, Michael Melfeld Jr., and Charlie Widener make up that top 10. As you see, Christian Bishop trying to get back on the lead lap as he is working his way through traffic here. Lyle Swearingen trying to follow suit. Should a caution decide to come out, Christian Bishop is sitting in that lucky dog spot, so he would get that free pass and be able to get back on the lead lap. But right now, Chad Stearns is out to a 2.5 lead over Kyle McCartney. McCartney knows what it takes here to win. Matt Sisler up into P3. Andrew Schulte up 12 spots, just kind of hanging out on the wall, riding around all by himself. He's been able to make that work. As you see, Christian Bishop go up to the high side, trying to get his lap back the hard way. He is battling with the 93. So 2 trucks left in front of Christian Bishop before he can get his lap back the hard way. He has basically waved goodbye to Lyle Swearingen, as Swearingen is mired back in traffic a little bit with Chris Sumard right there with him. So they will have to stay out to get that wave around if a caution were to come out. They would start at the back of the field there, but would be back on the lead lap. Chad Stearns, though, still putting on a clinic here. Kyle McCartney there as well as they work to get by Dustin Burns. So Burns will go a lap down now. And Christian Bishop, Lyle Swearingen, and Chris Sumard all go by as well. Christian Bishop back to the lead lap. We'll see who comes down next here as we're getting closer to that 60 lap mark. We've seen Lyle Swearingen and We've seen Lyle Swearingen and Chris Simard come down on lap 46. So if that was about the limit, they're going to have to come down probably in the next, say, 10 laps, if that's what it's going to take to make it to the end. They might be trying to just two-stop this race while everybody else has made multiple pit stops. Dan Brazington has made 3 pit stops, running P13 right now. Andrew Schulte up 12 spots, last pit on lap 24, so he has got to be getting close to where he wants to be for a pit stop. But Chris Simard is going to try and pass Lyle Swearingen to get into that lucky dog spot, but Swearingen says, no, you can stay behind me, Timmy. Butch Davis coming down pit lane. Kyle McCartney still about a 1.5 seconds back from Chad Stearns. Stearns has had one of the fastest trucks on the track tonight. See how long he's going to stay out and let that 05 Toyota run. It is pretty much an all Toyota top 10. We got Chad Stearns, Kyle McCartney, Matt Sisler, Andrew Schulte, and Jeff Schmeier inside the top 5, all running Toyotas. The first forward is the number 19 of Justin Wilkinson, and he is running P6. You have to go clear back to 10th, and Dennis Fuson for the first Chevy. So Toyota is definitely putting on a clinic here tonight. 61 laps into a 107 lap race. See if we can go on board with the 05 machine here. Chad Stearns. See how he's getting around the track so quick. Looks like Dustin Burns had a little hiccup there as we have pit stops coming in. Chad Stearns in. Looks like Dustin Burns had a rough pit entry there. Kyle McCartney still hanging out. Matt Sisler in second. Andrew Schulte third. Jeff Schmeier looks like he's going to be coming down pit lane. So it looks like they're thinking this thing's going to go green to the end, going to try and get their final pit stop here and ready to roll. Kyle McCartney still out here rolling through the laps as he last pit on lap 24. Chad Stearns comes out just to his inside. Was the leader before he came down pit lane. And joining me in the booth after finishing up a show earlier is Alan Bergen. Alan, how's it going, man?
Well, by the looks of it, this race is going pretty good here. You know, like you said, we finished up a show earlier. White caution and the Xfinity Series with the Elite Extreme Rank Tech Series there, and that was a whale of a show. But it looks like you got a whale of a show in your hands here. Was Kyle McCartney leading this piece after 66 or 65 laps of 107?
Yeah, Kyle McCartney started kind of towards the back a little ways, and then a couple early race cautions, but ever since then we have been green. Lyle Swearingen, Chris Sumard kind of got stuck on a difficult strategy as they came down on lap 46 under green flag conditions after opting not to pit under those cautions. And it looks like Wayne Fleet went around, but we're staying green here. Let's see what happened to Wayne real quick. Oh, looks like he just lost control, kept it down on the bottom, so we'll stay green. But yeah, these guys are putting on a show. Been battling basically all race, only a handful of cautions so far.
I gotta know something, Mike. Does this take you back to old times?
Kind of. One of the first leagues I was able to call here at Sim Racing Media. I mean, these guys have been around for 50 seasons, so, I mean, heck of a job by Bob Beltrami there.
I'm going to take you back just a little bit further. This is the first league that I raced in, and this is how I found you guys.
Yeah. I think I do remember that, Alan. Looks like Andrew Schultz. I was going to say Andrew Schultz coming in, Charlie Widener, Dan Brasington. Yeah. Looks like everybody's coming in pretty quick here.
Hey, look, I wrecked out of a lot of them, okay? And I came into the season thinking, man, I would have run the whole season. Well, then life happens, and, you know, Sam, he's in the Army, so I think they're getting close to getting deployed as we were working a lot at 70, and we got pit stops here. Kyle McCartney comes in, Sisler comes in, Widener, Brasington's in, and so for the foreseeable future, Mike, this is our home.
Yeah, kind of sounds like it, but it is a heck of a run here. Dennis Fuson going by the 19 on the high side. You can see these guys on fresh tires are just almost blowing the doors off of everybody on those older tires. Looks like we have two drivers left to come down pit lane. Morris Bogan and Ryan Steele. Ryan Steele is on his way down, but Bogan stays out.
He for sure does. And, you know, he's one of those guys, you know, we had an off week last week, and then the week before, you know, he's one of those guys that just, gosh, I like seeing him put a week together and see him be there at the end. Is that number 036 truck. He's got the Nike swoosh on there. How do you not like the Nike swoosh?
I don't know. I was kind of looking to see if Chad Stearns had the old Michael Jordan on the front that he used to run, but it doesn't look like he does anymore. It's pretty much a blank truck, but he's looking like he's trying to get into the right position here. Last pit on lap 62. Later than everybody else in front of him as he goes to P4 as he gets by Brandon Hughes.
Yeah, here we are watching Chad Stearns in that number 05 Toyota Tundra work his way down the back straightaway. He's in top 4 spot. He's up 16 spots from where he started. Christian Bishop, though, in the lead there as we are cycling through pit stops. Currently up 18 spots from where he started. You know, and it's amazing, Mike. You got 33 trucks strong here. 33 trucks took time tonight. 71 laps are in the book. And maybe, a handful of cautions?
Yeah, not too many at all.
So, I mean, that says a lot about this league. And you won't find any better group of truck drivers than right here at Western States Racing League, as you know, Mike makes his official return as the voice of the WSRL, and we're going to send him back about 4 years.
Yeah, these guys definitely put on a show. These guys went from basically a single booth, making Dave and Tony stay up late at night on the East Coast. So when I got hired on here in Mountain Time, not quite as bad as being on that East Coast run here, as Michael Melfeld Jr. is trying to make the pass to get back towards the front.
Well, I think this just about aligns with your schedule anyways. So, I mean, I would say it's probably about 8 o'clock Mountain Time anyways, right?
Right. Well, when it starts, yeah. Yeah, just about perfect. About time for the kids to go to bed, and then I don't have to worry about any of that. So, but we'll see. We'll see. Well, we're gonna see how long Christian Bishop stays out, because we saw what happened to Lyle Swearingen and Chris Dumard, and we're kind of seeing it still as Chad Stearns almost passed them like they were standing still. That 05 is back into second place.
Chad Stern back in second place, 75 laps of 107. And Mike, I got Dave on my mind because I am getting to rub some salt in a wound here. Shots have been fired this evening, pre-race shows. As everybody knows, I am a diehard Cardinals fan, and Dave is a diehard Phillies fan. But I got news for you. The Cards win. So I am going to fire, a shot of my own.
Well, speaking of the Cards, one of my coworkers' nephews is actually in the Cardinals their AA program now in Springfield.
Oh,
and they are 4-0 right now.
Woo, buddy.
So.
Hey, nothing says I love Dave Regal more than a GIF of Cardinals winning and DX doing what they do.
Well, Chad Stearns back to the point now, which I didn't think it was going to take long for him to get up there.
Oh, I didn't either.
He's just been quick. Lyle Swearingen and Chris Simard come down pit lane.
He's one of those drivers, Mike, that are just beyond tough to win or to beat here. As he's always there. He finds himself there every night. As my wonderful wife says, stop being a butthead. So the Tony Trapezo Memorial Studio, located just south of St. Louis, is literally right above my wife's craft room. She hears the broadcast, whether she wants to or not.
Oh, I see how that goes. Yeah. We're getting down to crunch time here, though. We'll see if anybody else has to come down pit lane. It looks like, or if Chad Stearns is going to have to. Christian Bishop is fading back a little ways as Chad Stearns basically passed him, waved goodbye, and is out to almost a 2.5 second lead already.
I mean, man. Christian Bishop, so we're, essentially 20, 30 laps away from the win, from the end of this race?
Yeah, 27, yeah.
Okay, I'm close. Hey, we're doing St. Louis math tonight, right? And, Jordan, our newest member of SRM, he got to experience St. Louis math for once. He goes, you're only 10 off, but close. I'm like, okay.
Butch Davis back up inside the top three. As Chris Simard goes by Christian Bishop, trying to get his lap back the hard way, along with Lyle Swearingen as well. but he still has a healthy gap to get to Chad Stearns to get that lap back. But he is sitting in the lucky dog spot as Christian Bishop comes down pit lane. So we'll see if anybody's going to be able to stretch it and make it to the finish here, as we have Kyle McCartney, Andrew Schulte, Matt Sisler, Justin T. Wilkinson, and Chad Simpson all came down on laps 67 to 68. So that might be the money spot. See if Chad Stearns has to save a little fuel here as Swearingen gets his lap back.
I would rather not be running first. I would rather be in a Butch Davis type spot. And this top 3 right now is looking like the old times whenever I ran this league, when I was driving this league back in about 4 years ago, when it would be Butch Davis and Jeff Schmeier just battling it out hardcore every week.
Yeah, look at it now. Andrew Schulte, Jeff Schmeier, Kyle McCartney, Butch Davis, 4 trucks playing leapfrog down the backstretch.
Yeah, these guys would just lap me religiously whenever I ran this league. As Kyle McCartney drives the most expensive truck in the field, when you see the Snap-on truck, you know you're going to owe them some money.
Yes, definitely. I stay off of that truck every time it comes to work.
Granger's my go-to, but I'm going to tell you right now, if you're looking for parts, go to Zorro. They're way better. It's like Granger. It's just a little bit cheaper. It's like going to Harbor Freight.
All those places are far away.
Not on the computers, they're not.
Yeah, I know.
But I can tell you right now, one guy who isn't far away, and that's Chad Stearns. He's not far away from Andrew Schulte. They're in an 81 truck. Okay, kind of.
I was going to say, he's like 3.5 seconds. But Andrew Schulte is gaining time. He after these guys quit playing handsy here, he is slowly pulling away. He's got a 1/4 of a second now on Kyle McCartney. Jeff Schmeier, Matt Sisler are all kind of lined up here. We'll see if they're going to be able to make any ground. And it looks like they are on Chad Stearns. Chad might be trying to save a little bit of fuel, too, as he came in on lap 62. Everybody else came in after that. So we'll see what happens as they move on here. As you see Christian Bishop go to the inside of Andrew Schulte. Bishop trying to get his lap back the hard way for a second time here tonight. That gap from Schulte to Stearns is under 3 seconds this time.
I mean, he's closing in ever so slightly.
Every lap he's closed in. It's just crazy. Let's see if we can find some action back in the field. Maybe it looks like Butch Davis here, battling a little bit with Chad Simpson. Chad Simpson pulling away. We got Jeff Schmeier battling with
JTW, Justin T. Wilkinson there.
Yep, JTW, yeah.
That's the battle for 5th position right there. And just ahead of those two is Matt Sisler. And this is an opportunity for Jeff Schmeier to get a 2-for-1 special going down into turn number 3 if he can catch both of those trucks at the same time.
Yeah, if he can get that momentum, but looks like they're on a little bit fresher tires. Jeff Schmeier might be trying to save a little fuel too, as he last pitted on lap 63. But Schulte is slowly closing in. The gap is now down to under 2.5 seconds at the moment. But he's going to have Kyle McCartney right on his rear door pretty quickly here.
Oh yeah, Kyle McCartney, Taco Bell, Snap-on truck. The two. Well, I got a weak spot for Taco Bell. Nacho, cheesy Fiesta potatoes. fire.
Well, Kyle McCartney has started at Homestead 8 times, and he's won 5.
That's not a bad record.
I mean,
He's batting 1,000.
pretty much. I mean, and he's sitting in a pretty good spot too. I mean, other than Andrew Schulte in front of him, but if Chad Stearns can't make it, it's going to be a battle between Schulte and McCartney. Let's see if we can.
I've seen some weird things happen.
Yeah, yeah. Let's see if we can jump on board and see what Chad Stearns is doing here.
Well, he's driving first off.
Is he?
I mean,
he is saving. He is saving fuel. He is shutting that thing off.
I knew it. It's like the second guy ever, right?
Yeah,
that does that.
Yeah, I've seen one guy win several races by doing that. He's not driving full throttle. He gets up to about 7,000, shuts it off in the corners, lets it roll, turns it back on. So he is definitely saving fuel there.
Seems like a whole lot of work for a little bit of gas.
So that is why that gap is going down too. It is now 2 seconds as we jump back to Andrew Schulte. And you can see he's not shutting it off. He's letting it roll. About 5,500.
I mean, you got what you got at this point, right?
Well, it'll be what it will be as Andrew Schulte goes up the track just a little bit. Early in the race,
Kyle McCartney.
Yeah, early in the race, Andrew Schulte was up on that wall. And now he is running a lot lower than he was before, but it looks like he might be playing a little bit of defense with Kyle McCartney right behind him.
Here comes Kyle McCartney putting Andrew Schulte under attack here on lap 93 of 107. And man, Kyle McCartney is right on his tailgate, and Andrew Schulte not able to pull away. And here, the lap car it might have slowed McCartney down just a little bit as Schulte takes the high side.
Yeah, definitely looked like that was almost way bad there for Kyle McCartney, as McCartney was not expecting that 69 machine to be where it was.
I mean, Kyle McCartney almost had to check his shorts after that one.
12 laps to go here.
Wow. And, I mean, that gap is down to a second and a half. And there's the eyeball test from second to third. As we come back up to your leader, there's a better eyeball test right there. As Schulte has closed into within a second of Chad Stearns there. And like you said, Mike, Chad Stearns, there's your eyeball test.
Yeah,
kind of back up that data.
That gap is getting a little bit closer here, as it's now just over a second. But we'll see how much fuel Chad was able to save and see if Andrew Schulte or Kyle McCartney is going to have to save any, as they've got about a 5-lap advantage over Chad Stearns here.
Well, if you're Andrew Schulte, half the battle is catching Chad Stearns. But at this point, if you're Kyle McCartney, you really got nothing to lose. I mean, you might as well go all out and hope for the best. As we're now down to 10 laps to go here in Miami Homestead Speedway.
And as I was saying earlier, Toyota pretty much has this top 10 on lockdown.
Oh, yeah.
Actually, I think they pretty much have this league on lockdown, because it's hard to see Ford or Chevy up here for the most part. I mean, Butch Davis, Lyle Swearingen, and those guys win a few races. But Toyota is very well represented here in the Western States Racing League as we have 10 laps to go here. And it is down to showtime here. See if Chad Stearns saved enough fuel to make it to the end. As it looks like...
Whoa, a little side draft, and...
I'll say Wayne Fleet. Wayne Fleet needs to check out a little bit there. Would not want to be called to the hauler if I was in that position there.
I think Wayne Fleet's got a little Folgers in his cup and maybe a little more in his shorts. He did a little side drafting action.
Yeah, he definitely got right up there with Andrew Schulte. But Kyle McCartney is starting to slow down a little bit as that gap to Andrew Schulte is expanding here. And Schulte goes back up to the wall and starting to ride that wall a little bit as he lets Wayne Fleet go by.
So here's the thing also, Mike, is if they suspect if there's any kind of grip up there whatsoever, they're going to be up there, and you're going to live and die by that wall.
Sounds like the race I called earlier.
Oh, where they ran the cushion? Live and die. Hey, the cushion giveth and the cushion taketh.
Yes, it definitely does. And the winner did not run the cushion. He was a bottom feeder, and he won staying down there. So
I'm gonna go back and watch that one because I wanted to race it, and then I got the nod to go cover an earlier race myself. So I did that, and then I'm like, well, I'm not really tired.
So here you are, 7 laps to go. Chad Stearns, Andrew Schulte. They're getting closer together. It is now just over a half second.
I mean, wow, yeah. Sometimes the bell will come chasing you, and you ain't got to go chasing the bell.
Well, as they always say, catching a guy's one thing, passing him is something else. And Chad Stearns is loving the fact that there are 2 trucks between himself and Andrew Schulte, one running the low line and running the high line. So he can pretty much run wherever he wants. As long as both of those lap trucks stay behind him, he will be sitting in a pretty good position here. But he also has got to be very aware that he keeps shutting off his truck. And at some point, these lap trucks are going to be faster, and he just might inherit a chrome horn.
Well, I can tell you right now, we got 5 flanges in there, 5 laps to go. Chad Stearns driving the wheels off of the truck, turning it off, turning it back on, and not only now, but here comes Andrew Schulte. There's the gap.
I was just checking to make sure he was still shutting it off.
Look, we're not going to name drop on who else does that, but, you know, Chad Stearns is number 2 driver that does it too. And, I mean, you got to do what you got to do to save gas. But there is Andrew Schulte. As you can see him coming right into your picture. Only 1 truck separates him in the lead with 4 to go.
Got Dennis Fuson back there. Fuson running middle high, so he's going to wind up slowing Schulte down just a little bit as Schulte's staying up on that wall there. Chad Stearns, 3 laps to go.
I call that the Kyle Larson line.
Yep, the Kyle Larson line is definitely what it is. Just don't pull a Kyle Larson pit entry, and you'll be good.
Don't pull a Chastain move, and you'll be even better.
Yeah, Chad has just got to be hoping he has enough fuel to make it to the end.
We're coming to popsicle sticks.
Yep. Popsicle sticks in the air, 2 to go. Fuson in between Stearns and Schulte. This is going to be it for Chad Stearns if he has enough fuel to make it to the end. It is going to be a tight one.
That's got to be really close.
Well, we saw Lyle Spurgeon and Chris Simard make it to 46 laps, but that was 46 with a couple cautions mixed in. So
there ain't no cautions now.
there is no cautions. The only caution would be if Chad Stearns runs out of fuel, and Chad Stearns takes the white flag, so we will have no more cautions. Next flag will end it here as Chad Stearns is hoping that he has enough fuel and enough willpower to outlast Andrew Schulte.
Well, as Chad Stearns brings it around, turns 3 and 4, here comes Andrew Schulte. Does he have enough? Are we going to have a photo finish? Chad Stearns will take the win here at Miami Homestead Speedway. And Andrew Schulte puts up a valiant effort, but comes up just a little bit short.
And something tells me we are not going to be seeing a burnout because I don't know that he has enough fuel. I think he just ran out of fuel.
I think he's going to need a tow back to the pit lane. As he is going to probably wisely park it on the apron unless we see a Jimmy Johnson type move where he pushes Chad Stearns. One of these guys gets behind him and pushes it back to the start finish line. But it appears he will park it right at the entrance of the road course. Chad Stearns, a driver out of Newcastle, Indiana.
And he is done. He's checked out.
I mean, saved enough to get him to the end. That's all you need, right? No more, no less.
Yeah, he had to be hoping that there wasn't a caution. If there was a caution, there was no way he was winning that race. We'll let these guys get out of their rides and make their way up to the booth here. Let's see. So, in 22 races, they've had 42 cautions. 2 cautions per race, and that's basically what they had tonight. So, they are awesome when they're running here at Homestead.
Right?
I've seen some at Homestead that are just a disaster. These guys getting away with a couple cautions, and they're early cautions. I mean, especially with the track temperature as hot as it was, you would have thought you would have saw a lot more towards the middle or end of the race. But nope, these guys kept it green and kept it good.
We have third and second up here in the waiting room. So, Mike, I'm going to go ahead and bring in our third place finisher, which is Kyle McCartney. Kyle, this is Alan and Mike in the SRM booth. How's it going, bud?
Hey, Alan. Hey, Mike. How's it going, bud?
Well, congratulations on the third place finish. You know, it looks like you were kind of closing in on Andrew. He wasn't really kind of pulling you, but did you think at any time that you would be able to possibly catch Andrew and then possibly try to run down Chad there at the end?
Honestly, I didn't think Chad was going to make it on fuel. I think he pitted with like 46 to go, and I ran in practice. I think it was 44. So, I mean, I thought if he had to save, it was going to cost him too much time, but he did a good job running it. And then Andrew, I just gave up that track position to him in traffic. I think it was Butch and Jeff Schmeier, and had I not done that, I think he still would have got me. I ended up burning my tires up too quickly. Yeah, it was fun to run. I'm glad it went green. That was a lot of fun. We don't get many green flag runs lately, so that was a good time.
So, look, you know, we're trudging through the mid part of the season here. You know, it's a long road to hoe. We're coming off an off week, and were you able to kind of like hit the reset button and get after it there?
Heck yeah, man. I mean, I was itching to race last week, so but no, it's no, I'm glad we got to run again tonight. I think we got another like 4 or 5 in a row, and so that'll be a lot of fun to try and finish out the season here.
All right, Kyle, before we get you out of here, is there anybody that you would like to thank that helped get you here tonight?
Yeah, I got to give a shout out to my wife. got to give a shout out to my buddy Greg DeVries. He ain't on the YouTube channel tonight. He decided to go to the Colorado Avalanche game, but I got to give him a shout out anyway. So, but yeah, and thank you to you guys every week doing the broadcast. We appreciate it.
All right, Kyle. We'll see you on the next one, and have a good night, and go celebrate that podium with your team.
Thank you, sir. Have a good one.
Thanks, you too. All right, Mike, we got Andrew Schultz.
Andrew, man, how's it going?
Not too bad.
Well, it looked like you were trying to run that Kyle Larson line, trying to stay up there and work your way around traffic. How was the track playing out there with how hot it was?
It was real slick. The Larson line, I ran for, I think, the first two tire cycles, and knew that it wasn't faster, but just waiting to see where the race was going to kind of play out. I knew that the bottom was faster, so that's where I found myself on the bottom, in that last pit cycle, and just trying to make up all the ground that I couldn't, hoping that I saved some right rear tire for the high side towards the end. That way I was just doing everything I could trying to run down Chad, but between the lap cars and just having no tires left, just didn't have anything for him.
Yeah, definitely. Chad came down on lap 62, and I didn't think there was any way he was going to be able to hang on with enough fuel in the tank. Went on board a couple times and saw him shutting it off. Did you think he was going to be able to make it, or were you just trying to stay inside that top three there?
I did not think he was going to make it, so kudos to him. He did a hell of a job saving. Those wins are always fun when you can put away enough fuel to squeeze out a win like that. But yeah, when we came out of the pit, McCartney came out like right in front of me, and so I figured that was going to be the battle for the lead there. And we were just minding our tires for the first couple laps, trying to save a little bit of fuel just to make sure that we were good. And then when the time came to pounce, I think we got stuck behind two cars either going down a lap or two cars that we were passing for position, and was able to get him kind of stuck behind there, and figured that was going to be smooth sailing. Figured Chad was going to come in at some point, but just we're P2 today.
Yeah, definitely, man. Well, congrats on the podium finish here. As we look forward to the rest of the season, how do you feel going forward?
Feeling pretty good. Today was a good points day. Made up a couple points on Chad. I know he's got a pretty big lead, so we're just gonna keep chopping down a couple at a time and see what we can do.
Well, congrats again. Anybody want to thank before we get you out of here tonight?
Yeah, shout out to Patented Paints for the Taco Bell Dale Jr. lookalike truck. Bandit Motorsports teammates Justin and running with all the guys down there. Justin, Charlie, James, Mike, Heath. Those guys are a blast to run with. And shout out to the Sim Media Racing Group. Looking forward to seeing what you guys have to say all throughout the race. I know you guys put on a good show, and Bob for running the league and giving a lot of good drivers a competitive place to race at.
Definitely, man. Well, congrats once again.
Appreciate it.
I don't know where a race winner is. He's MIA.
Yeah, he's probably walking back to the truck after saving all that fuel. I mean, I think he was just, he has got to be on fumes. I don't see him anywhere here. It looks like I don't see him over here on the server, so I guess we just won't be able to interview the winner and figure out how he was able to save all that fuel. Well, we know how. He just shut it off for half the race. But with that being said, let's go ahead and We'll go down the race order here momentarily. Got Chad Stearns, Andrew Schulte, Kyle McCartney. Justin T. Wilkinson battled back for a P4. Matt Sisler, Chad Simpson, Jeff Schmeier, Charlie Widener inside the top 8. Ryan Steele, Lyle Swearingen round out that top 10. Go back to Michael Melfeld Jr., Chris Sumard. In P12, P13 is Christian Bishop, Morris Bogan, Justin Michael rounds out the top 15. Dan Brazington, Brandon Hughes, Dennis Fuson, William Fletcher, Gary Cleaver round out the top 20. Butch Davis, Bob Beltrami, Keith Kelman, Brian Barnes, Barry Field, the top 25. And then we've got Dave Rudd, Dustin Burns, Wayne Fleet, Wayne Hutchinson, pole setter James Lehman got into a rough spot. Carl Burke, Heath Smith, and Julian Ricci round out the field.
Looks like Julian Ricci won the race for the beer stand. That appears to be the only race that he's going to win here tonight.
Yeah, definitely the 1-2 punch there. Kind of did in their race there as they just wound up in the wrong spot at the wrong time. But with that being said, we're going to go ahead and wrap it up tonight. See you guys next week. From all the drivers of the Western States Racing League and all of us here at Sim Racing Media, I want to wish you guys a good night, and I will see you next week.